the billionaire CEO's grandmother accidentally fell into a dirt pit. A passing girl saw the accident and, without a second thought, climbed into an excavator. She immediately controlled the bucket and lowered it toward the elderly woman. When the grandmother opened her eyes again, she realized she had been rescued. Looking at the kind and beautiful girl in front of her, the old lady couldn't help but recall the joke her CEO grandson had made earlier when she had been urging him to get married. "Fine. The first girl you meet from now on will be my future granddaughter-in-law." Thinking of this, the grandmother used sign language to ask the girl to help pick up something that had fallen on the ground. Upon closer inspection, it turned out to be a recruitment ad seeking an unmarried partner, with a reward of 10 million yuan. The girl instantly thought of her grandfather, who was lying in the hospital waiting for money to save his life. She immediately expressed that she wanted to give it a try. Hearing this, the old lady didn't hesitate and took out a bank card containing the deposit and placed it into the girl's hand, telling her to wait there for a while. She then called her CEO grandson to come for a blind date. However, shortly after the grandmother left, the CEO arrived at the construction site. Unexpectedly, he slipped and fell into the pit as well. Seeing this, the girl was completely speechless and had no choice but to start the excavator again to pull him out. Looking at the handsome CEO, the girl subconsciously assumed he was the grandmother's grandson and asked him about it. However, the CEO thought she was just another woman trying to strike up a conversation. He bluntly told her she had the wrong person and then hurried back to the company. By that time, his grandmother had already been waiting for him for quite a while. Immediately he arrived, the grandmother told him, "She's waiting for you." Hearing this, the CEO decided to drive her there. While the woman was communicating with a sick man using sign language, the CEO stood nearby watching her. He remembered his grandmother telling him that the girl she wanted him to marry was a construction worker who understood sign language. At that moment, he realized that the girl his grandmother had mentioned was standing right in front of him. He then presented the gift he had bought for her and returned to his company. Later, the CEO's grandmother called her and decided to take her to see the CEO, since he was unwilling to do the right thing. When they arrived at the CEO's house, he was taking a warm shower. The grandmother walked the girl to the CEO's door and told her to go inside. When she walked inside, she was shocked by what she saw.